Hey guys, and welcome to Janet being Janet. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cover the bases. My husband doesn't like big, huge, bright sunglasses, and so I buy every single pair that I can, the cheap ones, and I wear them just for him because he doesn't like them, and I love picking on him, and he happens to be home right now. I think it's funny, and it's little things in life that makes me laugh. And 2, I have a blind dog. She goes absolutely everywhere she wants to go and makes as much noise as she wants to do, and there's nothing I can do. And 3, do you see this horse's butt on your screen? It's there for a reason, because all I do is I talk crap. That's the only thing I ever do on here. Everything you hear is my opinion and my opinion alone. And all this is for is your entertainment and your entertainment only. And goodness gracious knows that all I can do is give my opinion. That's all I'm good at anymore is running my mouth. Alright guys, so I've already introduced you to Amber Lynn. We are now going to go on to, I introduced you to Beck, which is Amber Lynn's ex, and then I introduced you to a reaction channel named Jordy. Now I'm gonna I should have done this one first, but I didn't, because yeah, it's me and I'm always backwards, and it's cold outside, and I'm trying to get caught up on everything, so I'm just trying to do good. My editor's out, and yeah, it's just a thing, okay? That's why I'm behind. But this one is Mr. SnowFlake. And so he's asking Beck some questions, and so we're going to see what Beck has to answer. Yeah, I'm always in Cal. Sometimes he's in Cal, but I'm always in Cal. Y'all know it. We just overlook it. All right, let's go. Ha ha.
Hey guys, I just want to thank everyone who watched my live stream and caught it afterward.
Beck is such a nice person. They really are. Such a nice person. Just an open heart. Just so sweet. Like I said, I don't know what all is said in here. I have an issue of, not an issue per se. I like to record them on my computer, not listen to them, not nothing. I like to just not know what's happening and then just discover it whenever I talk to you guys. Because I think it's more fun that way. It's the way I think, you know. I don't get a lot of chance to listen and watch reaction channels anymore, which makes me feel bad. So
I do want to apologize for the audio issues and the technical difficulties and the video issues, but I do promise to have it fixed and figured out before the next live stream.
Oh, there ain't no reason to apologize, no necessity or anything like that, because I'm a hot mess. I am. Ain't nothing about me professional. I just get on here and just do whatever, and half the time everything's messed up, kind of like now.
This video is me answering questions from the video that Mr. SnowFlake, or also known as Under the Hood, made for me to react to.
Like I said, he's a bigger channel. He's got 2 channels, but usually both of them are done on Amber Lynn, plus a couple of other people, but mainly Amber Lynn.
I also want to thank Mr. SnowFlake for getting these questions together for me and for making this video. Let's get into it.
Mr. SnowFlake will also do more like a documentary style as well of a video, and so he'll make longer formats, and he does a really, really good job. I just don't have the patience for it.
Hi everybody. The other day I asked the community if they had any questions for Beck. I had loads of questions for Beck. Beck, thanks for agreeing to help with Victims of an Empath. Dead nicely, thank you very much.
That is a series he's doing about Amber's exes, because like I said, Amber is not the nicest girlfriend whenever it comes down to it, and he tries to get everybody to talk to him, but it doesn't always succeed in that, because a lot of people just don't talk about Amber. Whenever they're done with her, they want to be done with her and just leave it in the past.
I'll read out some questions now from everybody. There's absolutely loads. I haven't included all of them because there is that many. Okay, right, here we go. Questions for Beck.
And I think he's the one that came up with this idea, and it's an amazing idea, because then, you know, Beck can just answer what they want to answer.
Has Amber tried to contact you after the breakup when everything was over? So she has no problem leaving crazy messages for people. And she was messaging Jade wifey when she was told not to, so yeah.
I like the way he's doing this. Now, I can say that I like the way Mr. SnowFlake is doing this, because he's asking the question, but he's also going in and explaining more of the question out. I like this way he's doing this.
Has Amber ever tried to contact you after the breakup? I'll read the question, have a little pause, that's when I imagine you'll
Yeah, she got a hold of me at one point to ask about a personal thing in my life happening. It was an anniversary of the death of my nephew.
Oh, no. No, 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 no. Amberlynn, you need to just leave that alone. Stay away from that. You are one of the most insincere people there is. So, No, 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 no. You need to stay away from anything like that because you are the one that likes to dance on the way to somebody's graveside. No, you don't. You leave Beck alone.
I think she asked how I was doing, and I didn't answer to that. And then a little while after that, she asked if Kate Winslet had come out with anything new, and I didn't.
Kate Winslet is Beck's favorite actress. So Beck usually knows everything there is to know whenever it comes to Kate Winslet.
Answer that either. And I want to say that was around maybe the summer of 2022.
No question. I'm just happy she's happier.
That's sweet. I'm glad he does a really good job. He does. He thinks of multiple different angles of going at it. So, I mean, I can't complain whatsoever at all whenever it comes to Mr. I need to quit saying that. I need to quit saying that. Okay. Bad Janet.
I'm assuming they know about Amberlynn Reid and now dating a suspected feeder. Oh, I put this up 5 days ago. Oh, they've broken up now. That was ages ago. I'm wondering what was their reaction to this when they found out? Shocked, unsurprised, worried, or concerned?
Okay, so when they're talking about the F-E-E-D-E-R, of course, if you're familiar with Amber, you know who we're talking about. But if you're not familiar with, that's Tommy. That's her recent ex. Tommy admitted to being an F-E-E-D-E-R. You're not supposed to say the word, but she admitted to it. She said that she's never denied it, but it was Amberlynn was the one that was denying that she was one. So, yeah, Amberlynn is a liar, and she will follow her own narrative, and she doesn't care if it's the truth or not, because that's what Amberlynn does.
Curious to know any of their thoughts around this situation, please. I always thought she was much happier being with a feeder. Anyway, what do you think about that?
Am I shocked that Amber would want to date a feeder? No, I'm not.
I'm not either. I really am not either. I think, personally, I think that Amberlynn, and I will say this over and over again, I think that Amberlynn is perfectly comfortable with the size that she is. I think that she is confident in her size, and if that's who, the other called words are supposed to come out of my mouth, sometimes they get twisted. But I think that she is attracted to the person that she is now because of how she presents herself, and she just needs to be honest with everybody. This is who I want to be. This is, what I want to be. But she won't do that because then they won't have interest in her.
And her being with someone who is okay with the weight she's at, or really okay with her gaining more weight, would be the easiest type of relationship for her to be in.
That's completely correct, because Amberlynn doesn't want to put any kind of effort into anything. Amberlynn is completely full of excuses, and if she has to be held accountable, she will not be a happy person. Just absolutely will not. She would rather be naive, but she's not naive. That's the problem.
I don't really have anything to say about Emily. I don't know her, but I will say that I don't see how you can care for a person while participating in feederism with no concern for their health.
Okay. So, for those of you that do not know, Emily, Emily's previous fiance, I think it was fiance, passed away being overweight. So they are saying that Tommy overfed her to the point of the grave, is what they're saying. So that's why Tommy's a big, huge issue, and this whole FEEDER is a big, huge issue in the community. Is people are trying to watch out for Amberlynn, and Amberlynn was like, I don't need y'all watching out for me. I don't need your help. So instead of everybody being against it, people were for helping her, and she resented people even more for trying to watch out for her.
Hi Beck, I hope you're doing well. It's so good to see you look so well and happy. You look incredible after that 600 pound LB lost.
It's okay, you can laugh. It's okay, you can laugh. It's perfectly fine.
Well done, well done. What was your reaction to Amber lying about wifey Jade being two different people?
Okay, so here's the thing. When Beck and Amber were together, whenever Beck broke up with Amber, wifey was in Amber's DMs. And so, of course, Amber, like I said, Amber moves fast. So wifey and Amber were always talking. Amber slowly started naming her live streams certain parts of wifey's information, like wifey's last name, where wifey's from, and things like that. And everybody'd be like, what's this about? What's this about? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So people finally guessed all of wifey's information. Well, then Amber did this whole thing of, oh, me and wifey aren't together. No, me and wifey aren't together. Y'all are harassing somebody that's not wifey. And so then whenever she started talking to wifey again, she started saying, no, this is a different wifey. This is wifey number 2. This isn't the same wifey. It was the correct wifey the entire time, but Amber Lynn kept saying it was a different wifey. So there wasn't wifey 1 and wifey 2. There was only one wifey. Everybody knew it, but Amber Lynn wanted us to believe, no, there was 2 wifeys. There wasn't. There was one, and we were smart enough to know that, but she didn't want us to know that. She plays naive in her own little way. She thinks she's smart and can get one over. People know the truth, and she knows that people know the truth.
Mental. How did you feel after she chewed you out, making some stupid joke like you always do? I think back on that live stream where she read that text to you out loud and then went whoopsies so often. It's so disgusting and vitriolic. Take care of yourself, Bex.
I'm not for certain everything that they're talking about. I'm guessing it's the one. There was one live stream where Beck said her name, said Jade's name, and it made Amber Lynn mad. But Beck wasn't meaning any kind of anything against it. She was just there's no malintent or anything. She was just kind of like, all right, bye, I love you. Tell Jade I love you. I love her too. You know, nothing. And it made Amber Lynn mad because then it meant, yeah, Jade is wifey number 2 and 1.
I'm sure you know what it is. I'm not sure how much you keep up to date with now, so some of these I might have to explain. I'm not sure. Yeah, you on the phone where I said, tell Jade I love her too, something like that. You mentioned the name Jade.
Okay, so yeah, that's the situation I was thinking of. I don't know. See, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I should explain them or just wait. I think I'm going to wait on him, and then if he doesn't give you the full thing, then I'll break it down and see if I need to break it down more for you. Is what I'll do. Because like he says, I don't know who all is up to date. I don't know who's not up to date. I don't know who's watching and who's not watching and who's familiar with Amber and who's not. I just kind of want to give you my take on it. I guess I don't know why y'all watch me. You tell me why you watch me, or you don't have to tell me. I don't care.
She panicked, ended the live stream. Next live stream, she made out that, oh, you were just joking about the name Jade, and oh, she told you off, whoopsie. So what happened after that? Was she really angry when you said Jade?
Oh, you don't even have to answer that question. You know Amber Lynn was mad. You know she was mad. There was no ifs, ands, or bottoms about it. She was mad. I
didn't know how anybody would not see through that because it was so obvious that it was the same person.
We did see through it. Everybody did. But it's just the fact of Amber Lynn needed somebody to blame because she didn't want to blame herself for doxing wifey the entire time.
As for the aftermath, she was absolutely mad at me. She was seeing red. She completely blamed me for her being doxxed, said the whole thing was my fault, even though she had done the whole pointing her name out in the live stream.
Yes, that was something she did too. They were on live stream before anybody knew Jade's name. Amber Lynn, they were on a live stream next to each other because Amber Lynn was paying, after they broke up, Amber Lynn was paying Beck, at the time, that was her name. But she was paying for her to be on live stream because nobody wanted to watch Amber Lynn alone. And so Amber Lynn was all, laughing and giggling, kind of like school crushes do and things like that. And she goes, oh, look, that's her name. So everybody knew what her name was. So Amber Lynn actually doxed her. But she wanted to blame it on Beck.
And then naming the live stream after her thing.
But she wasn't happy. Would Amber ignore you in real life and then make a video with you acting like she was such a good girlfriend? That's always how I assumed she was acting. I always got the feeling, sometimes got the feeling.
See, okay, so whenever I was watching them as being a couple, I thought it was really weird how, you know, they would rarely be together. Because Amberlynn would be in the, you know, at the kitchen table and Beck would not be there. You know, Amberlynn would be filming over here, no Beck. Amberlynn would be in this room, no Beck. In the bedroom, no Beck. And then I was like, okay, Amberlynn likes to do her own thing. You know, that's whenever I was viewing her, you know, as an Ambi, because that's what they call it. Anybody that's on Amber's side is an Ambi. And then whenever I changed, and I was like, they don't like being around each other. And I wonder why. You know, because it had to switch. So, that was my question of why did they not want to be around each other? Because I started, that's the difference. When it depends on how you look at things. You see things differently. It's just amazing because you see the same thing, but it's just how you're looking at it.
When I'd watch a video of you two together, like something seems off. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, did Amber, was she ever really angry, ever moody? And then the camera went on and then went, hi, girlfriend tag, everything's great.
Oh, you know that happened. Oh, you know that happened. It still happens with almost everybody. Almost everybody. There are times, I tell you right now, I can be so mad. I can be so mad. I can walk outside and the horse can nudge me and I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. That's what I do. I'm like, if they're mad, they'll push me. If I'm mad, they'll push me down. So it happens with everybody.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. Like, there would be times that we would be arguing, having a disagreement or something, and then she'll be like, oh, well, I'm getting ready to film, so as soon as she would turn on the camera, it would be a completely different person.
She's fake. She's immature. She's childish. That's what it is. She wants to say she had such a bad childhood so she can have pity about it, but it's excuses. That's all I'm gonna say is it's excuses, and it's bad that that's what she's gonna live by, is nothing but excuses from her childhood. And if she didn't have those, then I think she'd be a lot further, but there's nothing we can do.
Did she weigh more than 572.4 pounds? She's always said that was the highest weight. That was the highest weight she ever saw. Did she ever weigh more than that?
Okay, before Beck even says anything, okay? Before she even says anything, if she was laying in bed as much as she said she was laying in bed, I don't think we'll ever know. I don't think we will ever know, because she said that there's times where she laid in bed and couldn't get up. So if she was laying in bed and could not get up, even to go to the bathroom, I don't think we'll ever know. My opinion.
I honestly do not know what her highest weight is, and I don't even think that she knows, really. But I do remember her weighing like 570.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody will ever know. I don't even think Amber herself, Amberlynn, I don't think she will ever know. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think she'll ever know. Because if she was actually in bed, couldn't get up, couldn't move, I don't think she would think about weighing herself. I mean, that would be my opinion, but
maybe like 580 something at some point. She definitely got more private and secretive about it after that, so I'm not really sure how much she ended up weighing.
She didn't want Beck to see her, because she lives by this whole thing, my highest weight was, and she will repeat that highest weight, and that's the only known highest weight there is, because that's the only one she published.
Do you think Amber sometimes believes her own lies? Or, if she was more able-bodied, do you think she would have been physically... I think you answered that in a Karina video, I think. But do you think she believes her own lies?
Yes. I think she believes her own lies. I think she makes it up. And I think she says it so much she starts believing in it, because she has a twisted mind.
I do think that she convinces herself that her lies are true because she wants them to be true. It's really hard to explain why I think that, but I feel like I've seen it happen.
Yep. That's why some people will lie and lie about something, and then eventually they'll believe it as the truth. They just keep lying so much about one thing, and you will not convince them whatsoever at all that it's a lie. Because they've told that lie so much, it's embedded in their mind. You can have proof. Nope, it's embedded in their mind that it's the truth. Because in their mind, that's what they believe.
And this person says, sorry, I have one more. I don't think I read out the other one, sorry. What would Amber say about her lies when the camera was off? Would she try and justify it to you? Would she say nothing to you at all and pretend her lies were real?
Amber Lynn doesn't have to admit anything Amber Lynn does not want to admit. That's just it. She's going to say what she wants to say, and she's not going to say what she don't want to say. Yep, sometimes she needs to keep her mouth shut, and she doesn't do it.
I don't know of actual instances, but I know that there were times where she would be like, make sure you don't mention this or that, just to make sure that things were kept straight.
She wanted to keep her secrets, and I'm telling you right now, if Beck would have told some of her secrets, Beck would have been in a whole heap of trouble.
Did Big Al ever threaten to off herself if Beck wanted to break up with her? Did she do that with Destiny?
I don't know the answer to that with Destiny. I can't help you in that situation. I don't know.
She didn't threaten to do that with me, but she did guilt me in other ways, like saying who would help her and who would take care of her, who would be there with her, if she would be lonely, that kind of stuff.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's not so much of the girlfriend relationship. That's not what you can't call that a relationship as girlfriends in my eyes. That's more as a caretaker. So she could have just hired a nurse. Honestly, Amber Lynn had the money. Just hire a nurse to take care of you. Hire a live-in nurse. Don't put your girlfriend, don't put her in this situation. I mean, are you really attracted to each other when you're doing something like that? I don't know.
How did Amber treat the service workers she encountered when the camera was off? Waitstaff, cashiers, receptionists. Was she outright rude? Did she fake kindness then trash talk? What were the reactions of other customers? I've been watching videos from when you were with her.
When she was with Destiny, they went out to eat one time, and Destiny was called a sir, and Amber Lynn got really mad and got upset and told the waitress off, because definitely Destiny was a girl, not a guy. So I wonder what Beck is gonna say.
And she said people would laugh at her, people would mock her. She could see the stares. She'd be really paranoid about that. Now she makes out that every time she leaves the house, some guy's asking her out.
It definitely did seem like there were times she would fake kindness, but she wouldn't outwardly be rude to waitstaff or anything.
Really? Okay, well, I guess you would kind of call that an improvement. Maybe. I don't know. I just remember that time with Destiny.
That I could tell. But there were times where we did get stared at, and if they were talking about us, I tried my best to tune everything out so I didn't hear it.
That's the only thing you can do. People are going to talk about you, no matter what size of you are, no matter how you look. People want to talk. Just let them talk. People talk about me sometimes when I walk by them. I'm like, hey, what's up? Ooh, I'm sorry. Okay, continue.
Why does Amberlynn Reid insist on being chauffeured? Why won't she learn to drive or take an Uber? I'm going to put it down to laziness like everything, but I'll wait and see what you say.
I don't say so much laziness. I just say that she's entitled. That's what I say. I think she's got a big, huge problem with entitlement.
She's terrified to drive, and I also think she knows that she couldn't fit behind a steering wheel or probably wear a seatbelt, and that's also probably why she can't take an Uber, is because she would be required to wear a seatbelt.
Yeah, but they have seatbelt extensions. So I don't understand that. Because at one point somebody told her that she could get a seatbelt extender if it was needed. So they exist. So I don't understand why that would be an issue. I don't know.
Did Amberlynn claim BPD when you were together, or did she still have ASMR?
Okay, so if you don't know, Amberlynn, whenever she was younger, she was telling all of her diagnosis, and she claimed that she had ASMR. And so that's been like one of the biggest things with Amberlynn saying all of her diagnosis that she has. You know, everybody tells her, remember, you were diagnosed with ASMR, you gotta remember that.
Does it bring you joy to see her rotten life spiral? I think it brings a lot of people joy to see her spiraling at the minute. I think she's crazier than she's ever been.
I don't so much like seeing her spiral because I don't want anybody to really spiral, but okay, here's my thoughts, okay? Amberlynn, somebody is always in her wake, so the more she spirals, the more she puts onto somebody else. And if you enter Amberlynn's life, do you somewhat deserve it? Yes, you do. But some people don't know, like, are naive, kind of like I was. They don't know the full array of Amberlynn and all of her possibilities and things like that. So the more she spirals, the more she has the possibility of putting somebody else in situations. And so I think of the upcoming person and the people in the future. And I also think of Mama Lynn, and I think about the animals, and I think about it a little differently than everybody else does.
Well, it's more obvious now. We can spot it. It's more obvious now.
No, she didn't claim to have BPD when we were together, but a friend of ours did mention it to me, saying that they thought that she had BPD or something similar.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes is a mention. You might have. And once you say you might have, she has it.
Did Amberlynn Reid ever confess to you about her major wrongdoings/lies, e.g. the Casey SA, Gracie, grooming Libby, etc.? I don't know how much you're aware of now.
Okay, so depending on what he tells you, I'll explain what I can if he doesn't explain it, okay?
A lot of people are calling her Diddy Lynn because of how she was around Libby and kids and other things. Did she ever confess anything like that?
Sorry, had to have the battery changed. Okay, so whenever I say R-A-P-E, rain and petals eavesdrop, I used the wrong word. Amberlynn was with a person named, is now named Casey, and at the time was not named Casey. Amberlynn is a lesbian, and so when Amberlynn was with Destiny, Amberlynn decided that she was during like the Me Too thing and all this and that. Amberlynn wanted to come out and say something about her experience, right? So she, and I think Casey was 15 at the time, I think, and Amberlynn was 18, I think. If I'm correct, don't quote me on ages. She came out and told her story about how Casey did R-A-P-E, rain and petals eavesdrop, to her. Well, Casey came out, and Casey denied every single bit of it, told their side of it, and Amberlynn flipped out, went crazy, and said, no, and she created the poem of Rain and Petals Eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. Yeah, that's where that comes from. So every time you hear me say it, that's the lie that she told. She told in a complete story about being essayed by, yeah, and it was all a lie. And then the Libby thing is whenever she was with Destiny as well. They had a friend that was 15 years old, and they had a friend that was a sister who had a little sister named Libby. Libby was 15 and hung out with Amberlynn and Destiny. And let's just say they hung out a lot, and Amberlynn would film Libby doing certain things that now looking back were kind of not the easiest to watch, like telling Libby to stand up and show her bathing suit, and one time they were at this park and Libby was rocking back and forth on this thing, and it happened to be a rooster, and so Amberlynn makes the joke, oh look, you have a C-O-C-K in between your legs, you know, and things like that. So Amberlynn deleted or took down all of those videos, any of them that had Libby in them, here recently, because she was getting called out, because she was on following somebody that is a PRED on Instagram. And the more and more you look at it, the more and more people say that Amber is following down the same path.
The essay stuff still baffles me.
No, she never confessed to major wrongdoing. She basically kept the same story that she had online with me.
Okay, Amberlynn never said that she was wrong for saying all the stuff that she said. She never admitted that she was wrong. We all know she lied, because she came online and she lied and she made up the whole thing of RAPE, rain and pedal eavesdrop. I used the wrong word.
I only found out recently that Casey was a minor, and I didn't know anything really about Libby. I'd never met her or anything, but all I did know about it was that she was Destiny's friend and she was a teenager, and they had an...
Okay, I guess she's going to tell you somewhat of it. Like I said, I never know how much they're going to say. I just would rather... I tell you too much, I guess. I don't know.
Adult friend who had a crush on her, and I told Amber that I thought that was weird, and Amber was like, yeah, but he was a good guy, which I don't understand how he could be a good guy and be...
Oh, okay. So, they were at Whataburger. Okay? I think it was at Whataburgers where they met. This guy came up to them and said that he had really bad anxiety. Trying to find my computer charger. He had really bad anxiety, and he wanted to know if he could sit and eat with them. And he was in his 20s, I think. And so they said sure, and Libby was with them. And so they let this guy sit down and eat with them. Well, before you know it, this guy's out there on the, because they lived in Florida at the time, out on the beach with them by the water, right? And they're singing together and all this and that, and they are having inappropriate conversations about goodness gracious, I don't, and this is this guy and this 15-year-old girl, about, I don't even know how to say this. Let's just say bedroom talk, I guess you would say. Let's just say that. They were having inappropriate conversations like that. And so, and Amberlynn defended all of it.
Flirting with a minor. The only other red flag I've really seen from Amber was she did have a crush on Billie Eilish when Billie was just starting out. So I think she was a teenager around then, which I told her was weird, and so did Eric.
Okay, so she's pretty much pointing out the pattern of good old Amberlynn liking kiddos that are under the age of 18. If only a bunch of us could have seen it years ago and it didn't take following one now, things would have been different. Things would be different. She should have been called out a long time ago. But, you know, this is the way it goes.
Rinky, but she said that she was almost an adult and that she acted older and looked older, so it was okay.
She said the same exact thing about Libby. The same thing. She acted a lot older. She didn't act her age. She was mature for her age. That's what she said.
I just really wished I would have dug deeper into these things and taken it more seriously, because they really are awful and it's unacceptable behavior.
You're not the only one, Beck. There's a lot of us that wish we would have. I wish I would have known, and I never would have given her the benefit of the doubt on any of it.
But I will always stand with victims.
She had sympathy for PDFs and she would argue with people about it. Sorry, I'm going on a lot of rant.
Yep, that's another point. She's always said that it's not their fault. So she's always had pity for them. If they suffer with the illness of being a PDF, it's just an illness.
And she said the reason she defended PDFs was because she was gay and she didn't want to judge people like she'd been judged. Then she forgot that and said the reason she had sympathy and stuck up for PDFs was because of what her cousin did to her. And you've got that. And she said the reason she stuck off for PDFs and
he's bringing out, there's so many reasons why she needs to have pity for them.
argued with people online about it was because of what her father's friends did to her. Yeah, it was because she was gay, cousin, father's friends. Anything on that? Because I think that's the worst stuff. That's.
See, it's just kind of like an illness in the head. See, there's no need for blame to ever be put on them. It's just an illness in the head. It's not their fault. There's a reason for it. It's not their fault. Just like nothing's Amber Lynn's fault neither.
I just found out that she said that, and that's a disgusting comparison because gay people can consent, whereas children cannot.
Yeah, and people say that Amber Lynn leads a really boring life. If only you knew what she did behind the scenes, right? I used to think she led a boring life too. Only her vlogs are boring. Yeah. That's what she keeps boring, is her day-to-day life. That's what she keeps boring. She doesn't keep really behind the scenes boring. Oh, no.
How did you feel when she said she did not have BED after using the binge monster as an excuse for so many years when she seemingly didn't get her way?
See, she would use the BINGE monster and say, you know, oh, well, I have to eat all this, and if I don't, then I get really, really mean, and you have to feed me all the time, and I gotta have chocolate, and I gotta have this, and I gotta have that, and she just, it was an excuse for her to be as mean as she possibly could and eat as much food as she possibly could when she wanted to. That's all it was an excuse.
I thought it was hilarious because the entire time we were together, she always said that she had binge eating disorder. I don't know exactly why she said that she doesn't have.
It's every single time she's got something new, or she doesn't have this to have this. It's whatever narrative that she wants it or needs to fit in, that's the narrative she uses.
Binge eating disorder, but I will say that what I witnessed was that she would eat copious amounts of food, and whenever I wouldn't give it to her or she wouldn't get it, she would just be really upset and angry about it.
Yeah, and she would throw a toddler hissy fit. That's what she did. A toddler hissy fit.
And the binge monster would come out, and well, that's what she called it. It was actually just her kind of being a toddler about it.
I didn't know Beck was going to call her one. She is an immature little brat. I say that because I see them walking around the store all the time now.
Does Ella have a burner Instagram account? She was Damon White, pretending to be Damon White to see what people said about her, and people have always thought she's got sock accounts and burner Instagram accounts. Was she just obsessed with?
If y'all have, I want to do it like this. If y'all have any deeper questions about anything that he says, I'll tell you some of them, but like the David White and stuff like that, Dana White. If y'all have questions about it, just ask me down below, and then I'll help describe, you know, what it is. But I won't go into such full detail just in case. Some of it I will, but, you know, I don't know who all is watching this that knows about it and who doesn't. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how to do these. I don't. I'm trying here.
Like reaction channels back then, and what the comments said, and what this website said, and what this website, and what this person was thinking. Was she just utterly obsessed with it and going undercover to see? Oh, man.
But generically, do I think ALR has Amber Lynn Reed? ALR has sock accounts? Yes. Definitely. And her saying she doesn't watch reaction channels, I think that's a lie. Do I think that she tries to get as much information about herself as she possibly can? Yeah, I do. I think she's obsessed with herself.
I'm sure she did, but Damon White is the only one that I know for sure of. And yeah, she was all over the reaction channels and the Facebook and Reddit and Kiwi Farm. She'd check that stuff out all the time.
Okay, so I think she's immature, insecure. The reason why she's insecure is because she can't be honest with everybody and say that she wants to stay like she is. That's what I think. I could be completely wrong. 100% wrong. But I know whenever I'm at the weight I want to be at, oh, okay, I'm secure more than that. Okay, a bad example. Shut up, Janet.
How much food did Amber actually eat throughout the day? I don't know why I put that one in there. I'm guessing a lot to maintain 500-600 pounds.
Sometimes you ain't got to eat a lot, you just got to eat the wrong things. Yeah.
It was a lot of ramen. She ate a lot of ramen. She ate a lot of fast food. She ate a lot of junk food. Of course, you know, she would have her normal breakfast, lunch, dinner, but she would always have snacks and stuff in between. So there would be times where she wouldn't, like, she would fast for a...
See, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to always eat constantly. You can eat just so much, at certain times, and eat certain things at certain times, and you're gonna gain weight.
Little while, but then she would, like, you know how you just go like 16 hours without eating, but then she would binge for the rest of the 8. She would just eat.
Yeah, and she would eat crap. Nothing but crap.
Why does Amber claim to love Rosa Parks so much? Has she done any research about her or know anything else? Know anything else she did in the civil rights movement besides the one bus incident? I don't think she has a very good knowledge of history.
Amber Lynn ain't got much knowledge of anything, and she proves that all the time. Guys, I'm sorry for the costume change. People say this looks like a costume, but I'm sorry for that. I kind of had to stop for the night because of, farm duties. But anyways, I'm sneaking in a little bit of time. We're going to finish this. And just so you know, look at this. Yeah, I'm interrupting. I know I'm interrupting. But look, see, this is the one that's got the head on it. There's the ears. And I even figured I'd put my hair on top of my head just to honor her. So let's get back into this, okay?
So yeah, why does Amber claim to love Rosa Parks so much?
Okay, it's not so much in my opinion, it's not so much that she loves Rosa Parks. Amber was asked if she could go back in the past or something along those lines. If she could go back, who would she meet or what would she do? And she said that she would go back to Rosa, where Rosa Parks was on the bus, and she would go sit with Rosa Parks. And I think she said that because she has ulterior motives.
I really don't think that she does know anything besides Rosa and the bus situation. I just think that she thinks it makes her look good.
That's what I'm saying, ulterior motives, because we're just going to say, think about her. If she's, one time, we'll just say one time, she was at TJ Maxx or something like that, Ross or something, and she put on a black hat, and she was wearing black clothes, and she goes, look at me, I'm black on black on black, I'm a blackie, or something like that. And people were like, you can't say that. And she goes, what, like emo? And she didn't see any problem with saying those words whatsoever at all. It was just kind of like, what? And even though she got called out on it that second, she still posted it in a vlog. So that's how Amber Lynn is.
To be interested in that.
Do you think Ham really had goals standing in the line waiting to be a girlfriend? She does now?
I believe Amber Lynn always has somebody in her DMs. That's what I believe. I think she always has somebody there. I think even when she's dating somebody, I think she always has somebody waiting for her. Because it is Amber Lynn, and Amber Lynn doesn't like being alone. Anytime at all. None. I think when she's at home alone, she's still talking on the DMs.
Emily's over. She's got other people backed up.
Are you sure Emily's over? Or the FEEDER? Are you sure that's over? You never know when it comes to Miss Amber Lynn.
I don't really know. Like, I never got to see proof of any of that myself. All I know is that's what she told me.
Yeah, and you can't really trust anything Amber Lynn says, because we all know that she is an outright liar.
And it does kind of seem that every time she ends up having a breakup with someone, she's automatically talking to somebody else within a few days. So, I don't know.
Sometimes it doesn't even seem days. Sometimes it seems like hours. It really does. Sometimes it just seems like a meager, couple of hours. Oh, sorry, I didn't take these off.
What was the typical amount of time Amber set for visiting friends and family? That's one of the...
Okay, well, I shouldn't be talking about this. If he doesn't tell you about the timer, then I'll tell you, because I can't remember if you already know about it or not.
I've never heard of anybody else doing that. Maybe other controlling partners have done that too. I've never ever heard of it. I've never come across that before in my life. Jesus. It's such a bizarre behavior.
It most certainly is, and myself, I could not have somebody setting a timer on me. I absolutely could not. I would run.
And I'm trying to even imagine what Amber would view as an acceptable time. There you go, yeah.
Okay, so what would happen is Amberlynn, when Beck would leave to go and see her family or anything like that, Amberlynn would set a timer on her phone and she would want her to be back at that time. If she was not back, if Beck was not back at the time that was allowed and allotted, then she would get in trouble with Amberlynn. So it was a lot easier for Beck to be home at the time that she was supposed to be home, or within the minutes, hours, whatever the case may be. They were supposed to be home. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It's sometimes hard for me. I know one name, but I'm correcting myself as much as I possibly can. I'm so sorry, Beck. Please know it's no disrespect whatsoever at all.
So the timer would be for when I would hang out with my best friends. We would go down to the basement and play games and stuff, and Amber would choose to stay up in our room, and she would set timers for when I would have to leave my friends.
But I also thought that you said family as well, because like when you went on trips with your family, you had to be back at a certain time, or Amberlynn would throw a hissy fit because she couldn't get her stuff done when she wanted it done. I thought that was a thing too, or like when you were over at your mom's and stuff. I do believe that was a thing too. Maybe it's somewhere else. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's somewhere else.
And come be with her again. And then whenever it came to like seeing my family or leaving and going somewhere without her, she would give me a time.
Okay, I spoke too soon. I'm sorry. I spoke too soon. I need to be quiet. Beck, please tell your side.
Like a specific time that I needed to be back. And if I wasn't back by that time, then there would be an argument.
Of course there would be an argument, because it's all about Miss Amberlynn, and it's always going to be about Miss Amberlynn. And still to this day, it's about Amberlynn.
So on average, when I would be downstairs with my friends, the timer would be about set for 30 minutes.
Seriously? That's all the time that you would get is 30 minutes? Wow. Was it because, no tea, no shade, nothing like that, was it because Amberlynn couldn't go up and down the stairs? Or was it because you didn't want or your friends didn't want Amberlynn down there with you? Was that even part of it?
And when it came to seeing my family or leaving in general, she would just ask me when did I plan on being back, and whenever I would give her a time.
But why should you have to do that? That's the thing. Amberlynn, it's more like a working relationship. It really is. When you look at it, it's more of an employee boss. What time are you going to check in? What time are you going to check out? That's the way I look at it now. Back then, I didn't see it the same way. But now, I do.
She would give me a time sooner than that for me to be back.
I love an empath, eh? Did Beck ever feel uncomfortable when Amber would openly flirt with Destiny?
Well, I'll go ahead and say, everybody said that Destiny was Amberlynn's real true love, her only true love for the longest time. And Amberlynn actually confessed that whenever she got with Beck, she was still in love with Destiny. Amberlynn confessed that. Amberlynn had no problem confessing that to Beck and to everybody else. But at times she would deny it. She would say, no, I don't have any feelings for Destiny. I don't. And then she would say, yeah, I do. I did. I still did. And then she would deny it again. She couldn't keep her story straight, but we all knew she still had feelings for Destiny.
It was just to a point where I would just agree with Amber when she would say, no, everybody's just seeing things. I don't flirt with Destiny.
She would flirt with Destiny right in front of Beck all the time. I mean, she would make sure that Beck could be sitting right next to her and Destiny could be across the room, and Beck would just go ahead and flirt with her. No problem. I mean, just disrespectful as she could possibly be. Not a problem in this world. Let's go ahead and flirt.
I love Dana. I can't wait till they get married. You know, that sort of thing.
Dana, at the time, was Destiny's girlfriend, fiance. At the time. Not anymore. But at the time this relationship was going on with I want to say the female version name of Beck, but Beck and Amber, Destiny and Dana.
No, I mean, I'd also detached myself.
And let me add this in real fast. I don't know if it's going to be added in or not, but what would happen is Amber Lynn would want to go on double dates all the time with Destiny and Dana. All the time. She'd want to go to the store with them. She would want to watch movies with them. I mean, it was just a constant thing. She always wanted to hang out with Destiny and Dana. Did not matter.
At some point as well. So I didn't really care enough to argue with her about it, because she would definitely not like that I would disagree with the fact that she...
You can't disagree. And that's the thing. We all saw it. So there was no point in disagreeing with her. You just kind of got to shake your head and be like, okay, Amberlynn, just go along with it. I mean, especially if she's sitting there and mistreating you in any way. Just the easiest thing to do is walk away when you get by somebody like that, in my opinion.
Did show that she still had something for Destiny.
Beck, did you ever have a plan to leave Amber before you actually left?
Most likely she did. Yeah, most likely she did. Everybody has a plan on a way out. It's just when they get out, when they, get to put that plan into play. That's the way it works.
What led to making the plan if you did? Well, you did try and break up with her before, didn't you? And she said no, tried to turn it into a jokey thing. Did you have a plan to leave Amber before you actually left?
Like I said, everybody has a plan. I do believe that full-heartedly. It's kind of like, in my opinion, like I said, I think there was a plan by every single one of her girlfriends, because Mr. SnowFlake is doing, different videos about Amber and her being an empath, but she's not really an empath. So whenever it comes to somebody like that, you have to have a way out at some time, and you have to secretly have that way out. Just slowly work your way, and at the end, you'll just be ready to just run, disappear, go.
No, I never had a plan to leave. There were many times that I had tried to break up with her, but she would somehow...
So if you tried to break up with her, you had a plan. You had a plan to leave her, but she wouldn't let you leave her. Your plan was to leave. At that moment, your plan was to leave. But she changed your plan, correct? Because you stayed with her. Am I making any sense?
Find a way to stop it from happening by saying that she would fix things and things would get better and we would get better.
Okay, the more Amberlynn lied, the more you could see Beck pulling away. The longer that the relationship lasted, the more you could see Beck withdraw. But Amberlynn really could not see Beck doing that. The happiest you could see Beck, the most smiling and laughing you could see Beck, is after they broke up and you got to watch Beck on live stream with Amberlynn. That is when Amberlynn said she was going to pay Beck to do live streams with her. But of course, Amberlynn lied.
There was this one time that we had an argument on the way home, and we stopped in the driveway and argued for a few hours.
Hours? Oh my goodness. Why would you be in the car arguing? But, okay, I see it. Because it would take a little while for Amber to get out of the car. So it's probably more comfortable for Amber to stay in the car and argue than it would to be she wouldn't want to argue in the house, right? Because if she argued in the house, then it would be where Ricky and Eric could hear, and that wouldn't be a good thing. Ricky and Eric, I don't think Ricky would put up with it very much, them two arguing
in the car, and she just would not accept me trying to break up with her and would not let us go back in the house until I agreed to give her another chance.
As I said, you had a plan to leave, and she said no. She threw your plan right out the window. She knew she wasn't going anywhere fast, but you could have. You could have just got out of the car and been like, Amberlynn, I'm going. I mean, unless you were going to make her go, because you did live... Beck lived there first with Eric and Ricky, and Beck moved Amberlynn in. And the reason why is because Amberlynn guilted Beck into letting Beck stay with her and move in with her. And then Amber Lynn took over most of the bills. And so that's how Amber Lynn got most of the space, the square footage in the house to use.
To fix things and make things better.
In a now deleted vlog from Eric, I've never seen any of Eric's been deleted, I never caught them before. He was showing a product or something, and in the distance, if you turned up the volume and listened closely, you could hear some banging with someone yelling, "Let me in."
Okay, before he finishes this, I'm going to go ahead and say Eric is the vlog, or the person he's talking about, is the same person as Ricky and Eric, the two people I've been talking about. And Eric is the one that Amber Lynn turned into a vlogger in the house. Eric and Ricky there's the friends of Beck, who then became friends with Amber Lynn. So when they say Eric and Ricky, or the vlog of Eric, that's who it is. And Eric would vlog Amber Lynn both in her face and behind her back. You know, he would vlog her and she wouldn't even know he was vlogging, is what I mean.
We all know it was Amber, so I think my question would be, what happened? I haven't a clue about that one. Beck, I have no idea.
I have no idea what...
Yeah, I don't think anybody has an idea at this moment.
this is in reference to. Like, I have no memory of what this could be. But if somebody does have the footage, I would like to see it. So
you would be amazed at how many clips there are out there in this community, and how many channels and how many reactors there are to Amber Lynn. Amber Lynn's videos can get so boring that you need other people to spice them up in order for you to get through them. Even though they're 30 minutes, like me, I turn them into, you know, an hour long sometimes, just because I talk so much. I'm sorry, guys. I talk a lot.
I could maybe give my insight on what could be happening.
Did Amber really have cancer? I think so. Beck, over to you.
See, okay, this is a question that I personally, I don't even like using the C word at all. I don't. But I don't think it's right to question either. But because Amber Lynn is such a liar, everybody questioned her. In the beginning, all the reaction channels, everybody left her alone in the beginning. Because she came on camera and she was crying and she was saying, make sure you get yourself checked out. Make sure that you take care of yourself. You know, don't do like I did. So everybody, you know, left her alone. They said, we're not gonna react to her. We're just gonna let her do her thing, you know. And she went through. She would upload about her medical journey and things like that. So it just came back. She came back, and everybody was being nice to her and this and that. And then she started down the same old path. Her attitude came back the same way. Her manipulation came back. Her personality came back. Her weight came back. The lies came back. Everything came back. And we're all going, this did not change. This did not change you as a person. You really just do not care. So whenever everybody at that point started questioning, did you even have it? Because once you have it, you would think that somebody would change from it. Amber Lynn didn't. That's why people questioned it.
I felt great when she blamed you for the cancer.
Oh, and yes, Amber Lynn blamed Beck for it, because she said that if she was with anybody besides Beck, they would have forced her to go to the doctor sooner, so they would have caught it sooner, and it wouldn't have been something that prolonged for years. Even though she had to have a full hysterectomy, and she had been suffering with the symptoms and the issues for years upon years upon years, and never went to the doctor. She didn't go into the OBGYN one time, but she blamed it on Beck.
I bet that was a shock. She did what?
I laughed so hard. I mean, when I got blamed for the cancer, I was like, dude, me, Eric, Ricky, my mom, my sisters, every single...
Man, she's just listing everybody, isn't she? She's just putting them all out there. I'm not for sure what she's going to say, but if I need to follow up, I will.
Person in your life, even your own friends, told you, hey, you should go to the OBGYN, and she wouldn't.
Okay, so if you don't like hearing about women's things you might want to plug your ears. I'm going to keep this, or fast forward just a little bit. I'm going to keep this as withdrawn as possible. So plug your ears. What ended up happening was she was having prolonged shedding of her walls for a while, and at one point it just became to a point to where she just had uncontrollable shedding of her walls, and a big huge puddle ended up happening, so she had to go to the hospital. She went to the emergency room a couple of times. Finally, she went in and somebody understood what was going on, and she had to be sent up for surgery. But she was going through those symptoms of shedding a lot, but she didn't go get herself checked out, not one time. But she knew it wasn't normal, especially the way it was. And I can't remember the other symptoms she had, but she knew what was happening to her constantly was not normal.
She would not go. So how was that my fault? But yeah, she did have cancer and she had to have surgery for it.
And you know, it sounds really bad that people would be questioning whether or not she had it, but you have to look at Amber Lynn on what kind of person she is and how much she lies. And usually, like I said, usually when people have it, they change their life. They change their lifestyle. They change everything because they don't want to get it again. Amber Lynn has now gotten so big that they cannot put her in the machines they need to put her in to scan her body to make sure and to follow up that there's no more regrowth. It didn't appear anywhere else. You know, they can't even check her anymore because she has gotten too big for the machines. And that's just a sad thing.
Crazy, man. I don't have a question, I just want to tell them how incredibly happy I am for them. I see myself in Beck in so much that it physically pains me to see any of the old videos and the S Amber put them through.
From what I remember and what I know just at this moment, I do believe Beck has a fiance. I do believe. I'm trying to think here. I do believe that she has a fiance right now at this moment, and she's the happiest thing in the world. I do believe that's where she's at in life.
To see Beck come out the other side on a better path feels good. I wish nothing but the best for Beck and to get everything they could ever want because they deserve it.
Can you imagine? Okay, so when Beck left Amber Lynn gave her, I think I already told you this, Amber Lynn gave her, I think, $200 because Amber Lynn said that since Beck and her were no longer engaged, no longer together, Beck had to pay her half of the bills and lollygog. So she gave Beck just a little bit of money. Well, Beck used that money to pay for a U-Haul. So Beck had no more money left. So Beck started to GoFundMe to fix her car. And needless to say, because the community is what the community is, certain people came out and said that Beck didn't use the money the way Beck needed to use the money. Well, Beck then started having fear of the community. So they did not know, with the community being the way the community is, they didn't know if the community would come back and support them. Now that they have came back and came out, they're seeing that the community is here for them. So, like I said, if I say the wrong pronoun, I am so sorry, Beck. I really am.
Was it the Zachary Michael line of I hope you have the day you deserve? I like that.
Thank you so much. It's so raw, you guys. If you have ever been through something like that, I hope that you have come out the other side of it and are in a better place.
This is absolutely great. It really is. Because now Beck gets to see that the community is not only asking questions, the community is here for them as well. So, picking up a little bit of spirit is always a good thing, right?
If you could go back to speak with your 2018-19 self, what would you tell them?
Run. Because that's something that Beck has said before. Run.
If I could go back and talk to my 2018-2019 self, I would say leave immediately, run the other direction.
That's one of the things. She said it to somebody else. Somebody one time asked her, what would you say for any other girl, any other girl whatsoever at all. And Beck was like, run. One single word, run.
Beck said they wanted to be single for a while after leaving Amber, and they were. What made them realise that they were ready to date again when they met their current partner, who was beautiful, by the way. Congratulations.
Absolutely, congratulations, Beck. And Beck was single for a long time. Beck wanted to find themselves, and they did. But Amber Lynn did not need to be talking all this smack about Beck whatsoever at all. Amber Lynn needed to keep her mouth closed, but Amber Lynn could not do that.
I just feel like I was in a better place. I was going to therapy. I was taking medicine again. I had a job. I felt better about myself and things just were going good.
Well, I'm glad things were going good, but I hope you're not about to say things were turned bad. That's not a good thing. Like I said, I don't watch these beforehand, so I just give you all the feelings I have at the moment.
So I felt like I could again.
Was Twinkie... Oh, I want to know this one. Was Twinkie actually sick during that one Vlogmas, or did Amber say that for attention or greatly exaggerate her issue? I'm sure you know about it.
Okay, so if he does not tell you this story, I think I know this story, but if he does not tell you the story, I will definitely tell you this one, if it's the story I'm thinking about.
She came on camera saying, acted like Twinkie was about to die, but said there was no 24-hour vets, so she just left it. Left the situation. And then when everybody said, you lie, there's a vet she came on camera going, oh, it wasn't that serious. So, was Twinkie really sick?
So what happened in this story is Twinkie, which is the dog, ended up getting sick to where she couldn't even jump up on the bed. And she was crying and everything. Well, Amber Lynn came on her vlog and started telling us about, how Twinkie was whining and crying and couldn't even jump on the bed, and how sorry she felt and how bad she felt for Twinkie. And so then, next thing we know, Amber Lynn is out shopping and doing things with, I think it was Destiny. I think that's who it was. It's been a while. But all of a sudden, she's eating at a restaurant with them. And Michael B. Petty, who was a reaction channel back then, icon, there's snaps of him, little bitty clips of him everywhere. Of him Googling, because she said there's no 24-hour vets available in her area. So when she went out to eat, he was so upset with her for saying that and leaving Twinkie at home in pain, shaking, because Amber Lynn went to Walmart after she got doing her little running around. She went to Walmart and got Twinkie some joint vitamins to try to help Twinkie feel better. So Michael B. Petty got so upset that he went online and did research and found, right then while he was reacting, right then he went and found a 24-hour vet service that was open and available right down the road from where she was eating. And so he blasted her everywhere for it. So she comes back online, I think it was the very next day, and said, oh, don't worry. Twinkie's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong. It was no big deal. I did what I was supposed to do. And the way it was portrayed the first time is Twinkie was so sick and so ill. She felt so bad for Twinkie. And then once she got called out so badly, then it was, oh, never mind. Never mind, it wasn't that bad. So it was like a toss-up. So either she lied or she's lying that day. One way or the other, she lied. She's had animal control called on her several times because Twinkie's nails weren't ever cut. So she's not the best pet owner, is what everybody says about her. And you can kind of tell from the videos I've been bringing you, hopefully.
This was during the year that I don't really remember a whole lot. So I went back and watched that video, and the way she described it sounds really awful, and I don't remember Twinkie acting that way at all.
And that's what's bad, Yes, Beck was zoned out on a lot of it, but the thing is that if Beck was conscious, I say that not in a bad way, but if she was aware of the situation at the time, Beck would have taken care of it. Beck would not have let it go as far as it went. And I know that. We all know that because Beck cared. It's not like Amber Lynn. It's not, because Beck would actually have something to do with the animals. Amber Lynn wouldn't. They're just little, pawns for her who, it's kind of like, come here and give me love. Because that's what she needs. That's what they're there for. That's my opinion.
And Amber does tend to exaggerate things, so that's probably exactly what she was doing. Because there definitely was a 24-hour vet close by, and
Well, Michael B. Petty, yeah, he proved it. He looked it up, he showed us, and then Amber flipped out.
would have definitely taken her if she had been acting the way that Amber was describing.
That's the problem. We don't know which one was the lie. We don't know if there was a lie. We don't know what was actually happening because she didn't show us video. She just told us. And that's what Amber did a lot of times. Is she would just come on camera, tell us something, and then we had to believe her. But which one's the lie? And do we believe her when she says, oh, Twinkie's ill, and then we see her out just shopping and having a good old time? Oh, yeah, we could believe that would happen.
Were you aware of Amber lying to the audience about her hygiene, specifically in 2019? If so, did you have any thoughts on why she felt compelled to lie?
This one, like I said, there were times whenever she, like with Destiny, she just did like the 2-minute shower. I call that a 2-minute shower because of when you're in a camper, you don't have hookups or anything. You just kind of bathe off as fast as you can because you got to conserve water in your tanks, right? So she was just kind of doing that and washing her hair how she could. And then time when she was bedbound. So we have those.
Did the audience really pressure her in that way that she felt she had to, or was it something she felt within herself? By the way, I hope things continue to improve for you, Beck.
All right. Well, I hope things continue to get better and better with Beck because I think Beck is extremely happy. But I think Beck has said that she's had to help Amber Lynn in a couple of different ways when Amber Lynn couldn't get out of the bed.
Were you aware Amber was coming on camera, asking FMs, saying, just get out the shower, just get out the shower, just get out the shower, just wash my hair, just wash my hair? Were you aware she was doing that stuff?
Most likely she was, because Beck was sometimes having to be in the same room as Amber Lynn, because I don't think Amber Lynn was letting her out of the room, is what I don't think.
I was aware that she was lying to her audience about showering, but I think it was because she was embarrassed and was just trying to keep up an image. But I did not ever look at her Ask FM, so I was not aware that she was...
See, Amber Lynn would go on YouNow, Amber Lynn would go on all these different platforms, and she would build herself up there. So she had audiences everywhere, not only on YouTube.
Posting that she had just gotten out of the shower and so on.
And something Amber Lynn would also do is she would take a towel and wrap it around her hair and say, I just washed my hair, I just got out of the shower, I just did this, and try to fool everybody when she didn't just get out of the shower.
I want the details of the stupid FBI Frank story. And did Big Cherry really free bleed around the house for months? How long was she bedbound for? So a few things there, but...
Okay, there's a couple of stories that are involved in both of those, FBI Frank and Big Cherry.
The FBI Frank story, I'm sure you know about that, said the FBI got in touch, eventually got in touch with her over negative comments on the internet, and the rest of it.
I have no idea about the FBI Frank story, really.
Well, it had to do with, they're saying Beck's sister is what they're saying. Nexus sister, or girlfriend's sister. Yeah, they're saying it's Beck's sister. I do believe I'm remembering correctly. It's been a little bit, guys.
Definitely wasn't my sister. Amber did come out and say that I wasn't the ex she was talking about, but I can't think of who it could be at all.
See, when she can't think of anybody else, Amber, oh goodness. I don't know if she's going to tell you the story, because if she doesn't, I'm going to tell you the story. So I don't want to double speak here.
For the next question, yes, she did free bleed, and for how long was she bedbound? It was over a year.
Okay, so FBI Frank. Amber Lynn is always getting negative comments in her comment section, right? And she's always getting criticized. Well, Amber Lynn said that this FBI person went to a sister's house and an ex's sister's house, or family member's sister's house. And they left a card for Amber Lynn to get in touch with them. Now, it's the FBI, okay? And so Amber Lynn used a different name for this agent, and they call him Frank. So Frank complimented her on her following on YouTube, and he was monitoring her comments section. And he did not like the comments that were on her page. So she was pretty much telling everybody to watch it with whatever they were posting on her page. People called her out for that and said that if the FBI wants to find you, the FBI is going to find you. They're not going to go to a sister's house to say, hey, I need to know where Amber Lynn is. The FBI knows how to get to you if they want to get to you. But she stood by that story. Very much so, she stood by that story. It didn't matter, and it still doesn't matter today. No matter how many times she's called out on it. She still wants to stick by that story, that FBI Frank went to his sister's house and gave the card to the sister, who then had to give it to Amber Lynn, who then got complimented on how many followers she had. That's the FBI Frank story.
Did Amber ever hit you? Again, I think you answered that in a Karina. And did she smell bad?
Okay, so, oh goodness, the smell bad part has to do with Destiny answered this question. So let's see if Beck answers the question.
I'm guessing yes. There's only so much perfumes and candles can do.
She didn't hit me. I think that if she had had the ability to, she might have, because she would get really angry.
Okay, I'm glad that she didn't hit you, Beck. That's a good thing. I think Mr. SnowFlake is putting together a video called Victims of an Empath. I think that's what it is. To where she might have been the BULLY type. And the whole thing of if she stinks. Amber Lynn has always collected perfumes. She says she collects them for the bottles and the aesthetics, is what she says now. Well, Destiny came online at one point, and somebody asked her if she stunk, or if Amber Lynn smelled or whatever. And Destiny came out and said she smelled like swamp, $. That's what Destiny said. And she said, if you can imagine it, that's how Amber Lynn smelled. So it seems like Beck just passed up that answer all the way around.
What has been the biggest resource inspiration to your recovery from so glad you're doing better. We love you, Beck.
I didn't see the question all the way, but it's positive, and they're correct. Everybody's falling in love with Beck, because she's a victim of Amber Lynn.
My biggest resource has been my family and my friends supporting me.
And Eric and Ricky from down the way, Eric and Ricky started out by being Beck's friend. And then at whatever point, Amber and Ricky became, after Beck and Amber Lynn split, Eric and Ricky became Amber Lynn's friend. How that happened was Beck was going through her emotional things, and they pretty much didn't like being pushed to the side, and Amber Lynn was there. But then Amber Lynn starts dating an FEEDER and then pushed them to the side. Amber Lynn is Amber Lynn.
Do you feel like you were walking on eggshells with the big one? Did she physically hurt you during her binges? Where did you get the strength to realize?
Binge monster? Amber Lynn says that's real. Amber Lynn talks about how nasty it is and how dirty it is.
The situation you were in and walk away. Was she really an avid reader? If you're here, did she fudge her weigh-in numbers? Did you ever want to say to Amber, shut up, for God's sake, shut up? I do the silly reactions to her sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes Mr. SnowFlake will dress up and, he'll wear cow things sometimes. And He'll he'll just make everybody laugh, and he won't take things serious. So sometimes he does that too. So that somebody thought that I was doing this for Mr. Snowflake, and I'm like, no, this is me. This is who I am. This is how I am. It's all over my house. Yeah, if I lose one thing, it's gone because it's mixed in with wherever it went. Because there's cow everywhere.
And I try and make them silly, but even I just go shut up sometimes because it's ridiculous. There's a few in there.
I was walking on eggshells with Amberlynn.
Even just watching Amberlynn, you can tell that everybody needs to walk on eggshells because she thinks she owns everything. I think that.
She was really easy to upset, and it wasn't physical. It was very verbally attacking. I don't know where I got the strength. I was just so fed up, and I knew it could not go on any longer.
You can get strength whenever there's nothing left of you. Whenever you're done. And I think it kind of looked like Beck was. She looked so sad that there was nothing left to lose. Might as well just walk away. I mean, they did for Christmas. Amberlynn didn't even really celebrate Christmas with Beck. The last one, Amberlynn did 25 days of earrings. So every day Beck had to buy earrings, for one pair of earrings for every day. And then Amberlynn would buy Beck something. It was like one of the cheapest Christmases. Amberlynn and Beck, Amberlynn did the most cheapest Christmases ever with Beck. Hands down. Destiny, she went all out for. All out for. And Wifey, all out. Expensive, cha-ching, cha-ching. Beck, no. Not even close. Nothing. I'm talking, let's see, Hot Topic, maybe. Coloring book, a blanket at one point. I can't even think, a hat. Beck got things like that. When, oh goodness, I can't even remember I think Wifey got a big designer set of shoes. Wifey got a lot compared, and Destiny got a whole lot, and then broke up with Amberlynn just a couple of days later. But Beck, she got treated like crap on the holidays.
Was she an avid reader? She did read, but she definitely bought more books than she ever read. Did she fudge her way in numbers? Yeah, she would sometimes. There were just some days that she didn't feel like weighing herself, so she would just make up a number.
Well, of course she would make up a number. That's why nobody trusts her today. People just don't trust her at all.
I gotta know if them, Eric and Ricky, ever S-talked Amber when she wasn't around.
I didn't know anybody who didn't, and I didn't know anybody who she didn't talk about behind their back either.
Amberlynn, I think you could tell that she talked really bad about people, especially if she thought somebody was talking bad about her. Because she would even come online, and she had no problem talking bad about people online. Because I think it was Rafe. It was another friend of Amberlynn and Beck. She didn't... Amberlynn bought everyone a snow cone or an icy or something like that. And I do believe it was Rafe. It was one friend. Didn't have money to buy one. So Amberlynn gave her the money to buy one. So when Amberlynn gave her some money that should have change back. Amberlynn got mad because she wasn't given the change back from it. So Amberlynn put her on blast on her social media platform so everyone could know that this girl stole a few dollars by not giving her the change back. That's Amberlynn.
What sort of lengths would she go to keep up her lies? Any noteworthy moments of her trying to keep the mask from slipping during the live stream era when you broke up with her?
Yes. They were doing stream cleans, and that was the live stream era. And like I said, Amberlynn cannot carry a live stream by herself. She is extremely boring. That's why she hired Beck, because people would hit on Beck during the live stream when Amber and her were still together, or Amber and Beck were still together, and when they split up as well. And you could tell Amberlynn was jealous anytime somebody hit on Beck, no matter together or not. You can say, Amberlynn would say, they're playing, they're joking, they're not being serious. It was actually pretty funny.
The mask was off and everybody, I think that's when I stopped showing any stuff. But yeah, you could tell that's when that was her real self, and it was awful. So what sort of lengths would she go to keep up her lies?
Well, as I've said a million times before, when you tell one lie, you got to tell another one to cover it up. And before you know it, you've got 10 lies out there, and you don't even remember your first lie that you told.
She was always wearing a mask when she was recording a video, and she would try to make it to where anybody around her when she was filming wouldn't say anything that would make that mask come off.
Oh, Eric caught her a couple of times where that mask came off. And Amberlynn did not like it, but Eric posted it anyways.
But during her live streams, you actually got to see a little bit more of who she is. I can't remember any specific times, but there were moments where she would be filming and she would nudge me and be like, don't say that.
Okay. So, there was this one live stream that everybody just goes on and on about. They were picking on each other, and Amberlynn said something about Beck, and Amberlynn thought it was cute, and everybody had the idea that that Amberlynn was not able to clean herself in the bathroom. Everybody thought this, everybody knew this, but Amberlynn would not admit it at all. So Beck just got tired of it one day, and Beck just leans over and says it in her ear and thought she was being really, really quiet. Well, someone isolated the sound out to where you could hear Beck say it, and so Beck just said, I think it was, so who wipes your dollar sign? And it was told, and it was shared, and it just went on, and so, yeah, everybody then knew Beck was doing that for Amberlynn, and it wasn't only during the C word.
Has Amber really ever attended some form of therapy? And do you know if she had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder while you were together? I've got a screenshot somewhere I showed it the other night where
Mr. SnowFlake, he gets all kinds of DMs, all kinds of screenshots, all kinds of everything, because, like I said, he puts together kind of like these documentary things, and they're very, very interesting to watch.
and she's got posts saying, I was diagnosed. I've never been diagnosed. It's in my family, so I've probably got it. I've been diagnosed. No, I haven't.
She did go to therapy for a very, very short time when we were together. Maybe a few sessions.
Amberlynn would go for, a week, 2 weeks sometimes, and she'd be like, I'm cured. And everybody would know it. Everybody knows that's not how therapy works. I'm so sorry. I'm talking with my hands a lot. I'm just a little tired. But everybody knows that's not how therapy works. Amberlynn likes to try to... She would try to fool people, and she still does it today. She tries to fool people, but it doesn't work. And she gets frustrated. She gets very, very frustrated. And there's some things that she would admit to, and then when she talked to a doctor, it's like, well, if you have this, you can't take this, or if you have this, then you can't be diagnosed with this. So she would come back and say, oh, well, I was told I may have this, but now I have this. So she would correct it and say, I don't have this, I wasn't diagnosed with this, but I'm diagnosed with this. And so she was having to flip-flop because she couldn't have this if she had this. And that's just what she would do, and she still does it.
But no, she was not diagnosed with BPD while we were together.
How did Twinkie act around Amber? Was Twink scared of Amber? We know, of course, that Beck was the one walking, feeding, caring for the animals on camera in live stream era. It seemed like Twinkie hated Amber but loved Beck.
Amberlynn has this thing where she says, oh, my animals love me so much. And with Twinkie, she'll do this whole, I love you, and Twinkie will do this kind of scream bark, she'll go, arr, or something like that, And so Amber will have Twink, kissing on her, and Amberlynn shows the audience how much Twink loves her by Twink, kissing on her and, in her lap and running back and forth, and animals want attention. So that's not somebody or an animal telling you that they love you, they this, they that. Animal wants attention. And if you're giving an animal a treat, animals will show you attention. So you're not proving anything, really. My animals will walk up to a complete stranger, but they may grab their treat and run. I don't know.
What were the animals like when she was on the binge monster man? When she was shouting, when she was kicking off, when she was being horrible? I bet the animals were scared.
That's what I was about to say. The animals probably ran from her because she, personally, well, with Destiny, she said that she was going to, Amberlynn was going to take Twinkie, and Destiny really didn't have a call in that at all. And everybody knew Wasabi was Amberlynn's, so Destiny knew she had no claim over Wasabi because Wasabi was the animal that Amberlynn really, really wanted.
I don't think that she was afraid of Amber, but I definitely do think that there were times that she preferred me. When the binge monster would come out or when she would be yelling, the animals didn't like that, so they would leave.
Well, no animal likes the whole thing of people yelling, I don't believe, and I think Amber did a lot of yelling. And I wouldn't be surprised if Amber didn't do the whole foot stomping. There was a video where Destiny's sister, Destiny's sister drove in or something like that for a surprise for Destiny's mom's Christmas one year. They put Destiny's sister, I think Cora was her name, in a box and did the whole surprise where the sister jumps out of the box. Well, Amberlynn was doing this whole jumping up and down thing. She was so excited. Then there's another video where she's on a curb about this big, about this tall, and she's telling them, oh, well, I'm afraid to jump. It's so high. I'm afraid to jump. I don't want to jump. I'm too afraid to jump. And I'm sitting there going, you can jump up and down. And it's perfectly fine with you. When you're celebrating, you can jump up and down, but you can't jump off of that curb. Just jump barely down. But as soon as she jumped down, she was very, very excited and proud of herself. So I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't do some stomping or something like that.
Looking back now, did you ever notice or clock Amber looking or talking about PDF type of things?
Ooh, I don't know if I would answer that question, because I would be like, yes, most likely. Because if you think back, Beck, I don't know if Beck's going to say anything, I guess.
The only thing that I can think of is her Billie Eilish crush that she had when Billie was still under 18.
Well, Beck has said that before. I mean, that's been known. Because I think she was 17, Billie Eilish was 17 or something like that, I think.
What was the final straw that made you end things? And what would you say is Amber's worst trait you didn't believe until it was over?
Could you actually level it down to one? I don't know if I could. I'm kind of clueless right now.
I've already answered this in Karina Kaboom's Q&A, but basically we had an argument because she was pretending to be me in text messages to our friends, and that started a big, huge argument.
Okay, I didn't do Karina Kaboom's because that's been a while, but I can tell you that Eric and Ricky and Beck had a text group with just the three of them. It was an older one, and it was a group chat. It was older that them three had. Well, Amberlynn found out about it, and Amberlynn wanted to be part of the group. So Amberlynn pretended that she was Beck, and she wanted that Amberlynn to be in the group. Well, they could tell it wasn't Beck. So Amberlynn threw a hissy fit that she wasn't in an old group that they didn't use anymore. She threw a hissy fit that she couldn't be part of it. And so that was kind of the last straw, because she was pretending to be Beck.
And I went and spent the weekend with my family and just decided that I couldn't continue anymore.
Beck needed to just kind of relax, blow off some steam, and she needed support from her family, but her mom had already passed, and what's bad is when her mom was passing, Amberlynn didn't even want to let her be there with her mom. That's what's sad. That's how controlling, I mean, that's the only word I can think of, how controlling Amberlynn was. She didn't even want Becky around her mom.
I would say that Amber's worst trait was how mean she was to me and how she would pick on me. And I didn't see that until...
She would manipulate you. She thought that she pretty much owned you because in my eyes, you worked for her. You were not her girlfriend. You were her employee. You were her nurse. You were her driver. You were her cook. You were her everything like that. That's what you did.
We had broken up and I was watching old videos back.
I was in an abusive relationship with a narcissist before, and one day it just clicked and I realised I was relieved to not have to see him.
Everybody says that she's a narcissist, and Amberlynn says she is taking tests to find out if she's a narcissist, and every single test that she has taken, turns out that she is not a narcissist. So she does not deserve to be called a narcissist by people online.
What was the moment that made you go, I don't want to be around her anymore? I have to get out of this, because that moment is a total game changer.
Wouldn't the answer to that be just what she said when she was pretending to be Beck?
There wasn't a specific one moment, but there had just been so many different things that had happened and things just snowballed, and then we had that big argument, and then after that I left, and then I did feel that sense of relief that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, her just going and being around her family. Beck's family is really, really, really supportive. Beck is very, very lucky that she has such a good family, and Beck had somewhere to go to. Amberlynn, she didn't have any of that, and she was up in Kentucky, I do believe. Amberlynn didn't have any of that, because Amberlynn is one that will go and move in with her girlfriend, just so she's not alone. She doesn't care where she's going, but like when she got up to everywhere she goes, she gripes about where she's at. She complains about where she's at. Why she moves there, I don't know, but she's going to complain the entire time.
I would ask, did you truly not care about her size when you first started dating? And did you ever get frustrated talking to her because of her lack of education and vocabulary?
I was shocked and alarmed whenever I first met her and realized her size, but I wasn't trying to be judgmental about it.
Okay, so Beck was on YouTube, and she was reading the comments. I think it was YouTube. She was reading whatever social media platform it was. She found Amberlynn, and she was reading the comments and realizing how mean the comments were, and she was afraid that Amber was gonna, do something to herself. So Beck started commenting to build Amberlynn up. That's how it all started. Beck felt sorry for her, and Manipulation Lynn started in and reeled Beck in.
It wasn't that I would get frustrated. It was more amusing than anything. And the only thing that was really frustrating would be when she would think that something was right when it obviously wasn't. So either I would have to Google it or she would have to.
Amberlynn doesn't... I don't think she Googles anything. I know she'll ask Siri things, but I don't think she even cares about the definition of. Because Amberlynn just spouts things out. That's why she comes up with extra words like hectacana and dainty, and I can't even think of all of the words that she comes up with.
I don't remember if you told us or not, but what was the incident that caused your family to intervene? Never heard of a family intervening for that. Never come across it,
Oh, I remember something about this, and I can't remember. They set Beck down. Oh my goodness, I can't remember. Oh my goodness gracious. It was a while ago. Oh goodness graciousness.
It was a lot of different things, but whenever my family started seeing less of me, they were concerned.
But they weren't, oh my goodness gracious. I remember that you said something at one point. Oh, I can't remember. Oh goodness. If I remember, I'll tell you in another... And I'll mention a vlog, or in a thing at some point.
Were you ever embarrassed walking around while she was on a scooter and asking you to take her pic for a thumbnail? That's in Victims. Okay,
so Amberlynn would ride a scooter in Walmart with Destiny, and Destiny would ride one with her. Well, when she got with Beck, she would ride a scooter with Beck, and Beck would not ride one with her. Beck would always have a cart, and Beck would follow behind Amberlynn. So Amberlynn one day decides that she's gonna push the cart like Amber Lynn's going to ride the scooter, and she's going to have Beck push the cart like she always did. Amber Lynn goes in between a section of clothes. I think it was the men's clothes because that's what Beck wore. And Beck had to go out into the aisleway, and Amber Lynn says, "Take a picture of me." Amber Lynn posed on the scooter so that she could get on a thumbnail in Walmart in the clothing section so she could use it on her Facebook or on her YouTube. She also vlogged the entire thing so we could see how she made her thumbnail and how she felt about it. And she thought it was cute.
You had to see how big she clearly was and her dumb laugh acting all smug.
Yes, I was extremely embarrassed when she would have me take pictures of her on the scooter for thumbnails. The whole hanging out with her in the scooter, walking around Walmart for hours was embarrassing enough.
Okay, Amber Lynn was called Finger Lynn. And it's not like that, okay? She was called that because she would always touch everything. If she was in Walmart, she had to touch everything. If there was a cup, she had to touch it. If there was a plate, she had to touch it. If there was, a bear, she had to touch it. Everything. It was touch. No matter where she would go, it was touch. And people were like, keep your fingers off of it. Just keep your fingers off of it. It did not matter. She couldn't just look at something. She'd have to pull it off the shelf. So everybody started calling her Finger Lynn.
But it wasn't the scooter that was embarrassing because I've walked around Walmart with other people who were riding scooters. And what was embarrassing about it was that the cart would be full of stuff, but then she would have me go get a new scooter when the scooter she was on would die.
They were in Walmart one day. So Beck likes the 80s, okay? And they like those bright colors. They found a fanny pack. And they were letting out all of it, right? The part that goes around your waist. And Beck really, really wanted this fanny pack. Amber Lynn had the gall to look at Beck and say, "Oh, it fit. Maybe you just need to lose a little weight." Yeah. She said that, looking at Beck. But Beck really wanted that fanny pack. Really liked that fanny pack. Beck gained weight when they were with Amber Lynn.
But I would have to write it back to her and then switch all of her items over from the dead cart to the one that worked. And she would just ride off and keep shopping and leave the dead scooter where it was sitting.
Oh, okay. And yep, Amber Lynn would do that. And Amber Lynn would also ride it out, to the parking lot, and she would just leave it sitting out there as well. She wouldn't ride it back up there, because if she rode it back up there, she'd have to walk back.
Has she been physically abused with you or admitted to being abused with other partners? I'm guessing she didn't. Although she admitted to Casey that she hit Crystal.
Why would she admit that with Beck? We haven't heard anything like that. And especially with Beck coming forward now, I don't think we would ever get anything like that out of Amber Lynn. Amber Lynn does do some things, though.
No, and I just found out about her admitting that to Casey, and I had no idea. I'm shocked she admitted to anything because she really doesn't like taking accountability.
She doesn't even know what that word means half the time, and her taking accountability towards Beck, she didn't even think Beck was going to speak out.
I'd like to know if Amber had her lie about anything. She did with Destiny. Phone calls, test results, surgeries, diagnoses. I'd also like to know if Amber was ever physical with Beck.
I think Beck had to lie when Amber Lynn wanted Beck to lie. And that is a sad situation to be in, because I don't think Beck ever wanted to lie to anybody, but I think she was forced to.
She was She was outed as being physical with Jade as well. Sorry, yeah, physical with Jade. Destiny outed her with the code red, and we know about Crystal and Casey. God, it's a proper pattern, isn't it? It's hard for me to imagine Amber's song would change with Beck. I'd also like to let Beck know.
I have to pause this every so often and give my input on it. And there was a situation with Code Red, with the Code Red Mountain Dew, where Amber threw a hissy fit, and Destiny tried to drive off, and Destiny ended up not being able to drive off because Amber Lynn was starting to try to get violent with Destiny, all because Destiny wanted to go somewhere and Amber Lynn didn't want her to leave.
I'm so incredibly proud of you, sweetheart. From the bottom of my heart, you can hear in your voice how much better you sound mentally, and it's so refreshing to hear. I'm so glad you're doing so much better.
I don't think I can remember of any time that she would have me lie about phone calls or test results or so.
Well, you already said that she didn't fake the C word. And she was going to the ER all the time. Amber Lynn said it's a lot cheaper to pay for, the doctor's appointments and things like that than it is to get her own private insurance, because when you are a vlogger on YouTube, you have to pay for everything on your own.
Surgeries or diagnosis. There were times that she would have me lie to friends and family and stuff about things that she would say about them.
That's still a lie. She still made you lie.
I have said this before, but I do think had she been more mobile, she probably would have been physical with me. And thank you so much for the kind words. It really means a lot.
Beck didn't expect everybody to be kind to her because of the way Amber Lynn is. Amber Lynn is the one that hinted around that nobody would like Beck. Amber Lynn tried to make the community not like her. Amber Lynn tried her best because she knows the community doesn't like Amber Lynn. So why would they like Beck?
My question is, did Beck ever feel that there were times when Amber Lynn would sabotage them when it came to food, meals, or weight loss?
Of course. Because think about it. They were on a diet. Both of them were. And Amber Lynn would have Beck do a mukbang with them. So there's times where Amber Lynn sabotaged everything.
I'm not sure if it was sabotage. We would start a diet and she would immediately want fast food, so it would set us back. When I was trying to diet on my own and she would not be dieting with me,
that was not allowed. And you could tell that because she would send you after fast food. And then she would have you be in a video of some sort. And you would have just announced that you were going on a diet, or you would have just announced how much weight you had lost.
I would have that constant temptation around me, so I would just give in to it.
Has Amber ever admitted to lying about the Rain and Petals eavesdrop situation? Accused Casey of grape.
The only admitting that she has done, as far as I know, is in Rain and Petals eavesdrop. Because if not, she would have admitted it to Beck, but I don't think she admitted it to Beck. I don't think she's going to admit it to anybody. She just put that out just so that she could say, hey, I used the wrong word, but I'm not going to say I'm sorry to Casey.
And then did a slam poetry reading about it.
No, she's never admitted that to me, but I don't think she would ever admit something like that to me, especially if it made her look bad.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. I don't think she's ever going to admit it to anybody. I think that her admitting it was Rain and Petals eavesdrop. That's what I think.
I'm so curious about how much Beck and Amber were recognized in public. Did people approach either Beck or Amber often? Do people approach Beck now?
Amber Lynn likes to say on her channel that people approach her all the time. She's got these fans that'll come up to her in Walmart or Target or wherever she's at, and they always want pictures with her. She's recognized everywhere. And what's so funny is it's always fans that she sees. It's not haters. It's always fans that she sees.
Yeah, there were plenty of times that we got recognized out in public. There were plenty of times that people would come up to say, "Are you Amber Lynn? It's nice to meet you," but there was nobody flirting with her or anything like that.
I'm just wondering, like I said, about haters. I guess they just didn't ever want to come up to her. I'm not for sure about that. But, yeah.
And as for do I get noticed or approached now? No, it's only happened maybe once or twice in a year.
So I wonder, since she doesn't have her picture up here or anything, I wonder kind of sort of what Beck looks like. Because maybe if Beck is not with Amber Lynn, maybe Beck looks different. Because Beck is at a healthier state in her mind and most likely in her body too.
For Beck, have you ever seen her hit any of her pets? But did she ever do anything like that? Anything like that with the pets? Did she ever clean the litter boxes?
No, she did not hit the pets.
She better not have, because the community would come unglued on her. Absolutely unglued.
And no, she never cleaned the litter boxes. I always did that. Whenever we first got together and I would visit, there was this room upstairs.
Oh, is this where she tells about the room and the bed and... Oh, okay. If she doesn't tell the story about that, I will definitely tell you.
Where the litter boxes would be, but it also had an extra bed in it. And the litter box was just so... It needed cleaned so bad that there was feces on the bed and on the floor.
And Amber Lynn had no shame whatsoever at all about what she was doing. Okay, so Amber had no shame whatsoever at all with this. But the part that wasn't told during that is that Amber Lynn, when Amber Lynn moved, she left the mattress there. And so the people that owned the place, they had to deal with it.
Please could you describe a typical binge monster episode for us?
She would beg. Sometimes she would just be like, please, please, will you go get me this or that? It would just sort of turn into like a guilt trip.
Begging and guilt trip is not a monster. To me, that's not a monster. That's just a hissy fit.
Like, why don't you love me? Why don't you want me to be happy? And she would just kind of be a bit of a bully about things if she wasn't getting her way.
Okay, definition of that. I can understand that. You can, yep, I can understand it.
What was the dynamic when Wifey moved into the apartment? Did she do anything to help the household, or did she just pacify Amber?
Okay, I can tell you the story about this, or a little bit of a story about this, if it's not told here.
Before Wifey moved in, I stopped staying at the apartment, and my stuff was just there. So I really don't know what it was like around there all the time, but I do know whenever I would come back and like periodically get my things, then I would sort of see how...
Since she's talking about, her coming back and getting her things, I want to go ahead and interrupt it for a second. So Beck came back to get her things, right? And Amber Lynn did this TikTok because Beck had a room all decked out with all kinds of colors and posters and everything. So Amber Lynn does this TikTok and she's flipping her hair and walking past the room. Everybody saw that room was empty. People started questioning her about, where's Beck? Where's Beck's stuff? Why does Beck not have a room? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because Beck had a separate room, even though they were engaged, dating, whatever the case may be. Beck had a separate room.
Things did work between Wifey and Amber, but Wifey was usually just on her laptop working and stuff. So I didn't see her do a whole lot, except for she would take Twinkie out. She would walk her. I did see that. Amber
Lynn would always say that, Amber Lynn still says that she walks Twinkie. Twinkie goes outside, and she's had such a good time with Twinkie. The thing is even when Twinkie was going and using the bathroom in the room, as Beck says, she's letting Twinkie and Wasabi and Rarity all go in the room and use the bathroom. Amber Lynn was still saying that she was walking Twinkie. So if she was walking Twinkie, why was Twinkie going upstairs in a room and using the bathroom? That's the question.
When did you realise that Amber was not the victim, but the cause of her issues? Yeah, I remember in the very beginning, you saying you saw lots of hate comments, negative comments, and you thought, she can't be that bad. Which is nice of you to look for the good and think, no, come.
Okay, this relates back to whenever I told you about Beck first reading the comments of Amber and say, oh no, I don't want Amber to hurt herself.
I'm sure I started seeing things right away. But I think it was periodically over time that things built up and I started noticing more of like when people wouldn't stay in her life.
And like I said, beginning, manipulation Lynn, full blast. You think, oh, she can do this. All she's got to do is put a little bit of effort into it. She can do this. She fails. Oh, she can do this. Everybody fails. Everybody fails a time or two. She can do this. And you don't go back and you don't look at her history for that many years. You know, when you start watching her, you'll watch her and you're just empowered by her, because she'll start a diet. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Octavia, so goodness, moderation, calorie. Oh, goodness gracious. I can't think of all of them that she'll start. But she'll start out and she'll start a diet of some sort. She'll fail. And it's like, it's okay. Get back on that. Get back up there. And she'll tell you a couple of days later, and she's like, all right, we're going to do this. We can do this. And it's like, yeah, you can do this. We got faith in you. You support her, and she fails. And it's like, all right, everybody fails a time or two. Support her again. She fails. Okay, well, all right. And eventually you just get to a point where you see it. And why are you failing for 6 to 8 months at a time? What is happening here? Why is it that you don't get up and walk? What is happening with your body, with your life? You're getting bigger, not smaller. You start asking yourself questions. That manipulation is strong.
You know, she was always the common denominator, and how she would say that she wanted help with mental health or weight loss, but then she wouldn't get it. I started to realize that she was the one that was standing in her own way.
Thank you. That's what I finally realized. But it took me a long time. Like I said, I joined my fitness pal. I joined her fitness Instagram. I joined all that stuff thinking that she was doing good and she had this and I was supporting her. Then I realized, oh no, nope. That she is not that good.
What happened during the infamous night when they shared a house with Eric and Ricky? Everybody got drunk and suddenly everybody needed a change and moved out. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, yep. They were all living together and they were all having a good time drinking. I need to just hush for a moment. Okay, let's see what they say.
I do remember that night that we drank and played Cards Against Humanity. We didn't fight that night, but there were times that we fought all the time. So there wasn't a fight that night that caused everybody to want to move out.
And now, granted, Beck, Eric, and Ricky all lived together perfectly fine before Amber Lynn moved in. Yes, Amber Lynn was paying most of the rent. Amber Lynn had most of the house to herself. Okay, and Amber Lynn was paying Beck's way because, like I said, Beck quit her job to take care of Amber Lynn, or be Amber Lynn's girlfriend.
It was just buildup of Amber wanting to move out over time because she was not happy living there.
But that's not how Amber Lynn portrayed it. Amber Lynn portrayed it. The tongue ain't rolling. She made it seem like it was like an instant thing. They had to move really, really fast. That's what she made it look like. Like the owner just was pushing you out really fast. Y'all had to find an apartment like at the last minute. That's what she made it look like. Like it was going to be really, really hard because she was just getting over the C word. That's horrible.
I would ask Beck, when living with Eric and Ricky, did they ever mention or say anything about how Amber was treating you? That era is hard to watch. It's hard to edit. Oh man. Because of how miserable Beck looks. And then the fact that Beck's family had an intervention. But Eric and Ricky still stayed friends with Amber. Yeah,
there were times where they were like, you know, especially when she would set the timers and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. There was a family intervention. But I am racking my brain. And I'm not getting very far with it.
They would be like, this is ridiculous. We don't understand why she does this or why you put up with it. There were other times where they just wanted to stay out of it. I have no idea why they stayed friends with her after I stopped being friends with her, but I know that they said that they thought that she had changed at one point.
Manipulation Lynn. That's all you can say is Manipulation Lynn. But when Beck quit talking to him, and they started talking to her, sometimes you can't do anything.
But then they had another falling out with her. And then after a little while, they started talking to her again and visiting her. So I'm not sure what happened after that either.
And that's a shame. It's an absolute shame because Eric and Ricky were Beck's friends for years upon years upon years upon years, and then Beck starts going through actual mental health things, and starts going through a really, 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 really rough time, and she doesn't have her friends anymore.
What happened after the camera was turned off? Who's the one who's been wiping your ass live stream? Oh yeah, God, I don't even think I've thought about that, man. When you know.
I already told you about the whole wiping your bottom thing. I told you that story. So now I guess it's going to be told to you again.
When you whispered to her who's the one who's been wiping your ass, she didn't look happy. What happened after the camera went off?
She was really mad about it. She told me that her audience is never going to let her live it down.
Well, she was right. Nobody is letting her live it down, but she deserves it.
And I think she told me to lie and say that I was just joking about it, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, no. You couldn't cover that up no matter what, because it was a question that was out there, and you pretty much just gave an answer to the question that was there, because nobody thought she could.
We've got a question from Jimmy Bunker, who you don't know who Jimmy is. He helps with the channel. He's one of my few friends. He's very nice, and he likes it. And he says, "What's your favorite anime? I'm a huge fan of Full Metal."
Oh, going into anime characters.
Alchemist. You'll know what that is, Beck. I've not got a clue.
I have a few different favorite animes. I like Demon Slayer, and I like Ranking of Kings, and I really like Attack on Titan.
I have no clue what they're talking about right now. This is a conversation for Beck. They're obviously talking right up Beck's lane, so I'm going to stay out of this one.
And I have started a Full Metal Alchemist, but I'm not in it very far.
Ask about the timer. Like, how did that even happen? Or another part of me is like, what did Amber expect to happen when Jade moved in?
A timer when Jade moved in? Is that what was just said? I didn't know there was a timer when Jade moved in. Okay, I guess we're both going to learn on this one.
And Beck was still there. Yeah, how did the timer thing even come about?
The timer thing started whenever I was wanting to go to the basement to hang out with our roommates and play video games.
Okay, or I guess is it going back to the timer where she would set time with the friends? We already covered this story. Is this the story?
And Amber was invited to go along too, but she didn't want to go. There were plenty of times that she had been down there before, but this time she decided that she didn't want to. So
I think this is a story that we already told. I do believe this is the story that we already said about Amber and the steps.
She thought for it to be fair, she would allot me a certain amount of time to go down there by myself. And whenever the timer would go off, I would hear it, and if I didn't hear it, she would send me a text message and say that the timer is done.
Oh my goodness gracious. We didn't hear the text message part the first time. Oh my goodness. You were being called in for work. You had a check-in time. You had to clock in.
Did Amber ever express to Beck any... I don't know the right words. Did she have any kind of self-awareness during her bedbound livestream era about how physically disabled she is, and did she ever have any care for how Beck was gonna be able to cope for that?
Her bedbound live stream era? I'm not for certain on that one, so let's see what it said, and then if I can give you a story, I'll give you a story.
Did she have any self-awareness for her making herself disabled, and did she have any care for how Beck was going to be able to cook? Because that must have been very demanding.
She did talk about it, so it did seem that she was self-aware, but she didn't want to put in the effort.
Are we just talking about the time when she got really, really big and she couldn't even get out of bed? But I didn't know we did live streams then, because I think that was whenever it was Eric and Ricky, but live stream wasn't Eric and Ricky. Live stream was after Eric and Ricky, because I was Stream Queens, because now she's doing live streams again by herself under memberships, but all she does is sit on her phone the whole time, and she texts now.
To make a difference and change the situation. And no, I don't think that she cared or thought about how it would affect me.
Did there ever worry about the possibility that Amber's health would decline even further?
Amberlynn doesn't care about anybody at all. Beck cared. Beck cared about the animals. Beck cared about Amberlynn. Beck cared about Eric and Ricky. Beck has feelings. Beck has a heart. Amberlynn does not. Amberlynn proved that through her action.
And that she'd get even bigger. And what they might have done had that been the case.
Yeah, I did worry about her getting bigger and how it would affect things, but I felt very powerless in this situation.
Well, you weren't shoving food down her throat. Miss Amberlynn was doing herself. So there's nothing you could do. And like I said, I don't have a story for this part.
Oh no, I'm sure there was one more I just saw earlier with there. I asked the question before, but thought of another one. Does Amber really keep her old phones? I don't think I did ask this. Or does she have a second phone? One for YouTube and one for burner accounts.
Okay, so Amberlynn says she keeps all of her text messages. Every single one of them. And that means even of her exes. So it's kind of like blackmail is what people think.
Yeah, she had 2 phones. She had gotten a new phone, and then she had her old phone. And she would use her old phone for vlogs and live streams and stuff like that.
See, that's the thing. That's what she would say. She would say, oh, this one has a better camera, so she would vlog on it, on one of them, and then she'd use the other one, to like read messages, like when she was live streaming and things like that sometimes. Or she would, be vlogging and she'd be looking something up, or... she always had an excuse.
And then she would use her new phone for other things, but I'm not sure exactly what she would use it for.
Thanks for doing this, Beck.
Yes, Beck, thank you very, very much for doing this. You put a lot of insight into a lot of questions.
For reacting to the video, thank you very much. And I'll keep you updated on victims. Yeah, if like I said, there was so many questions. If you want to do another one of these, there's more questions to go.
And I do believe there is round 2 of questions out, out. And if I know that Beck answers them, I will get another video out for you. I will do it as soon as I can. I'm trying to get these uploaded as fast as I can. Y'all know me by now. I'm trying and trying and trying. I'm a hip and a hopping trying to get them out.
Give me a shout, like I say. Thank you very much, Beck. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next video. Thanks everybody. Thanks, Beck.
And that is all for this video. I want to thank Mr. SnowFlake.
Well, like I said, thank you, Mr. SnowFlake, and thank you, Beck, for answering these questions and doing this for us. We really appreciate it.
For getting all of this together for me to respond to. And I also want to thank you guys for listening and watching.
Well, we appreciate having something to watch and to listen to about Amberlynn, besides having to listen to Amberlynn's lies.
I know that this was a longer video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.
Oh, my video is the one that's long. Yeah, my video is. Because I want to introduce everybody to Amberlynn and to Beck and to some other creators, so that, like the people that are doing documentaries and things like that, I wanted to introduce you. But I thought that the way I would do it is just tell you about other people. So if you wanted to watch other people, you could. Or if you just want to watch me and let me give you all the updates and all the tea and stuff, I will. I'll tell you about what I can, and videos pop up, I'll do it. And I'll get more on, on base of every single day, because I'm trying to get all the videos out as fast as I can and get them to you, so we'll both be on the same day, and we'll get that out soon. We will. I'll do it here really, really soon, so it'll be back to back, back to back, 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 back. And y'all get tired of those back to back, and you'll have plenty to watch in like one day. We're gonna do it. But alright, guys, I'm gonna go and get one edited, but I also gotta record another one so we can get them up back to back to back to back to back. But I gotta wait a little while to do that. So I hope y'all have a good day, night, weekend, holiday, year, whenever you might be watching this. And I hope you remember to smile today, or make somebody else smile, because it really can make a difference. And I hope y'all are liking this, guys. Like I said, I want to take a moment and just introduce y'all to him. You can see, people know who she is behind the scenes, and that's where they get you. Alrighty, guys, I hope y'all have a good one for me. Bye.